Okay. Why I quit competitive games.
When I was a kid, my one true love was video games.
True.
I would sit down and play for hours on end just to pass the time. Very quickly, I fell into the world of competitive gaming with
So when I was a little kid, I think my games of choice were it was Halo, Call of Duty, what else? There was a good amount of Shadowrun on the Xbox 360, and there was a good amount of elves and dwarfs and ogres and humans in that game. Whatever happened to that game? Whatever happened to that series? Because I remember that was one of the first games that tried to make the cross the gap of crossplay between computer and console gaming. They tried to do crossplay really early, and I think it was like okay, but obviously not really now because it's like a dead franchise, I guess. But I that game took up a lot of my time too.
one of the first games I remember playing sort of competitively being Mortal Kombat X.
Oh dang.
I was like 12 or something, so I would just basically spam the same move over and over
Yeah.
until the guy hopefully died.
There was a good amount of fighting games too. Now that I think about it, there is a probably unhealthy amount of Super Smash Bros. In there of all the titles. Plenty of melee, plenty of brawl. I mean, at the time we didn't know brawl was terrible bad, but who cares? You're still getting out after school and playing Smash, and then all of the titles of Smash afterwards. Um, yeah, there was a good amount of that, but the tournaments that I went to, it was just like just local, like GameStop or EB Games at the time tournaments. Just get in there with some of your friends, and then you meet some of the other people too, and it was pretty fun because whenever there was about 4 or 5 TVs hooked up on the walls, and there was like a little console with it on top of a table, and you plug your shit in. It's like, hey, what's up, man? Good to go. Good games, good luck, and you do your thing, and then whoever wins, it's like, ah, dang, or oh yes, I won, and then you go once you're done with your match, you go back up to the tournament official dude or a manager and be like, oh, I won, I lost, and then you just go watch some other people play, and it's really fun if you're a competitor. But if you're just a spectator, even in like a little small tournament, I don't think I would have found it as fun if you don't like know what the heck is going on.
And I wasn't like super into it or nothing, but I
Yeah.
did dump a bunch of hours. This feeling of taking someone down who had way more wins than me was a feeling like no other. I learned new combos as I got older, but quickly discarded it for something new.
Oh yeah.
This was only the beginning of my descent into degeneracy and was mostly innocent. My first true addiction was Overwatch.
I'm sorry.
I had dumped hours upon hours into this game, learning strategies and improving my
I gotta learn the strats.
aim just to one day reach platinum. Every update to the game, I was right on top of. Every buff, nerf, map change, I was so
What the
thirsty
fuck?
for this game. At school, I would just think about sinking all of my hours into Overwatch.
And just calculating and figuring out the numbers and the time to kill and the angles and the strafing patterns and the damages, the peaks. Little did you know, the only really real important thing that you needed was just better comms. That's all you need.
And
And a little bit of aim.
I did, until my grandma would come into my room for the third time and beg me to stop. I really enjoyed this idea.
Yeah, it's always your family that has to come into your room and tell you to stop yelling. It always is. Because when I was a little spurg playing Call of Duty, I was bro, I was obscene with like all the stupid shit that I would yell because when I played Call of Duty, eh, I had a bunch of friends at my job that also played Call of Duty. I worked at CC's for a good amount of time, like 2 or 3 years. God, that was a fucking mistake. Like the job sucked, but the people were cool because they almost everybody played Call of Duty there. And whenever some people were on shift, or whenever some people were off shift, they were 100% on playing Call of Duty. At the time, I think it was Call of Duty Ghosts was out. And for Call of Duty Ghosts, there was this thing that came out. It was like an app where you had to capture, and it was like a map of the world or whatever. And there was like points on the world. And if you wanted to capture the world, you had to join a clan. And it's like, okay, this is your clan. And then as a clan, if you want to capture this point, you have to play and win X amount of capture the flag. You have to play and win X amount of TDMs, and then you got that point. And then once you collect all the points, you had to hold it for like, I don't know, a week or two or something like that. Or it was a month maybe. I don't remember exactly. Once you collected all of the points and you were able to defend them, because while you're capturing the points, other teams are trying to capture the points as well. So if you saw a team like creeping up on the leaderboard, you have to collect more wins too to maintain your hold on that point. But once the season was over, you got these cool ass, it was either red and black or gold and black, just skins for your character. And it was like from top to bottom, like helmet to boot with a gun skin. And I think it had a little tag that went along with it. And it's like, yeah, me and my boys, we did this. And it was so cool.
Idea of queuing up with a bunch of random teammates and making the best out of the people given to us. Sometimes you would partner up with a group of people for the night, and you guys would end up having the time of your lives, cracking jokes and destroying enemy teams to never even talk to each other again. But eventually, these things stopped mattering to me, and I set my mind on the goal of getting to platinum. By the end of 700 hours, I finally made it. But my love for the game was beginning to fall apart. The game had changed so much from what it once was. The meta was becoming this boring, sit behind two shields and just shoot from long range until one of us had our shields break down.
Yeah, at this time, I didn't play Call of Duty. I didn't play Overwatch at all. I just watched it. And then I kind of paid attention to it, but at the time I was a controller bro and didn't know any better. But I saw Overwatch and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." But I was a casual like watcher of Overwatch, and more and more, the trend was become tankier, get more shields, like you said, and it was hard to watch Overwatch. There was just so much visual clutter. I didn't know who the good characters were, who the bad characters were. There would be explosions, lasers, shields, shit happening around people's screen. It was hard to watch, is what I'm saying.
Also, this grind for competitive points just took out most of the fun parts of the game for me. I always enjoyed switching up my heroes often and trying out new strategies that were unconventional. But to get to platinum, I just hard made Mercy until I eventually crawled my way into platinum.
Oh, dang.
Not even learning how to play DPS really ever. Eventually, I got burnt out of this game. Plus, I mean, a new game had been catching my interest. It was my new obsession. Fortnite. I have never, to this day still, played a single match of Fortnite. But I hear they got the no build thing going on, and from what I see, Fortnite is still popping off. Like I know it's got crossplay. I don't know how much aim assist is on roller or whatever. I think the competitive scene is healthy, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not plugged into Fortnite at all. It was one of the worst things in my life. My obsession with Fortnite was a tumor attached to my brain. I would wake up thinking about getting on the game, go to school talking amongst my friends about the new updates coming out instead of paying attention in class. Oh yeah. And depending on who your friends are, they either will or will not care about it. When I first played Fortnite was way back in season 2 of chapter 1. That was December 14th, 2017. And for 2 years straight until they released chapter 2, Fortnite was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dang. I would probably average 8 hours on Fortnite every day. Only 8 hours? Bro, those are rookie numbers. You gotta bump those up. Why do homework? Why socialize? I could just get better at this random ass building game, and I'm sure I'll do just fine in life. I would wait up until 6 a.m. just so that Fortnite would release stink bombs, and I would be the first ones to use it. Oh, when a new season dropped, I knew every last thing within the first couple of hours. I would grind all the missions immediately and get my battle.
Once a meta slave, always a meta slave. And that's the truest of truths. Because why would you bother putting time and effort into getting good at a non-meta gun? What? To prove a point? That's just for the birds.
Pass to the very end just to have that skin that showed me of this accomplishment.
Yep.
I was using this system to give my life meaning at the time. Completing the battle pass gave me purpose, no matter how stupid that sounds.
Purpose.
I would play the same game day in and day out just for a chance for being number one in this huge lobby of people. There was so much I could have focused on in my actual life, but I was too scared to face what I had already done to myself. I was rapidly falling behind in school, neglecting my own hygiene, and I decided that the only thing I cared about was being number one in a video game. It made me feel as if I was actually accomplishing something, but really what it made me accomplish was another day decaying, another day avoiding all my responsibilities.
Well, here's the thing. As long as you are getting all your responsibilities done, there's no real harm in spending whatever amount of hours you want on a game or on the computer. As long as you feel that your time was not wasted, it won't actually be time wasted, because as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, it's not time wasted at all. Now, if it comes at the detriment of your real life, then obviously you have a problem.
Another day doing literally nothing with my life. And I was okay with that because I reached number one in a video game.
True.
It's pathetic. Slowly,
Winners
I stopped
win.
even getting better at the game. I would just stare at the screen and hope that I win. Not trying to strategize, no training, just sit down, lose, load up again, lose, load up, lose. It was that until it was time to sleep, becoming a actual robot for Fortnite.
Dang.
And after this, it only got worse. I stopped caring about even improving in the video game that I was playing. And in real life, COVID was about to hit. And with COVID came my newest, worst addiction. League of Legends.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2020 was a terrible year for a lot of us. I was held up in my house, and if I wasn't paying attention in class before, then I really wasn't now. I would just sleep through my classes, and slowly I started going literally insane as I lost motivation to even get out of my bed. I needed a way to pass time that wasn't just staring at my wall, so I had to figure it out. So I took out my junk ass laptop onto my bed, where I now spend all of my day unless I had to like take a shit, and I booted up League of Legends.
Oh man.
Perfect way to waste hours at a time.
True.
I didn't even care about actually
But
strategy.
you can easily waste an hour with a single match, all right? When you're down there in bronze, silver, gold, the matches are easily can take up to an hour. And that is giga frustrating.
That would take too much of my brain. I would just throw myself into the enemy champion over and over and hope they just feed to me. People would light me up in the chat just, how do you not know that you need to have the jungle warded at 2:30? That's when the jungle ends their camp and they're most likely going to gank you and you need to...
Oh, God. Yeah. League is super toxic, man. I played for a little bit, but I dabbled in the ladder, but I just couldn't. I was beside it. I was over it. I was over it, beside it, not about it.
And I would just keep clicking and clicking, using websites to tell me how to build my characters without even reading what items do. At this point, it wasn't even just wasting my life playing video games. I feel like you can really build an amazing hobby out of playing video games. I'm of the opinion that video games in their own way are art. I really enjoy seeing smaller creators showing their creativity and their intricate stories through gameplay. Immersing yourself into a new world and coming up with solutions to a game's challenges are rewarding and genuinely good for you sometimes, I believe. even these competitive games have so much to them, you know? Learning
Ooh, Mr.
strategy,
Hook.
knowing when to take cover, when to go in for the fight, what items work well together, what times are best to strike, improving your accuracy, even cooperation amongst your teammates. But this isn't why I was here. I was here because I was depressed. I didn't give a
Aw.
single shit for strategy. I was just watching time pass at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Not only now was I accomplishing nothing in real life, but I even gave up on working on my skill for the game.
Been there, done
I would
that.
load up the game just so that there would be something happening in front of my eyes, waiting for life to change, waiting for the day I wake up and just understand
The
what I
day.
need to be doing. But there will never be a day like that. If you want or need change, you need to be the one to implement that. I was waiting for change, but I was scared of it at the same time. Change will feel terrifying to you, but the best way to overcome this fear is to control the change. Don't just let it come to you. Be the reason things are changing in your life. Take that new opportunity. Ask out the girl you've liked for years. Do something risky for once. At first, you will be so nervous, and you will fail sometimes. But failing is just another word for growing. You will come out of those experiences stronger, and sometimes you will go for that radical change that will improve your life, and you will get exactly what you want. You cannot just wait for life to change. Life will change, but if you just let it change without at least giving your best effort to make it a change that you are passionate about, if you choose to ignore what you know needs to be done, then you will always be a victim to the world instead of taking control and becoming your own. Competitive games put me into a loop of nothingness. I only was able to overcome this by putting down the game and asking myself, what do I need to change in my life? And then I needed to start taking the steps. It was very overwhelming at first. It was a long journey. I felt like I was already...
Yeah, it can in the beginning seem like a long journey, but all you gotta do is really just take one little baby step, and then that's the start. Like, if you want to start working out, you don't have to start by going to the gym. You can start for, like, you can go for a walk for 10 minutes a day, or at least this is what I did. Start going for a walk for 10 minutes a day anytime you eat something. So I would eat something and then go for like a walk, like 5 minutes out, 5 minutes back, and then okay, that was easy. Or maybe I just did it like once a day, and then you do that for 7 days in a row. Then oh, okay, maybe next week, maybe I'll go for a walk for 6 or 7 minutes out, and then 6 or 7 minutes back, and then your walks get longer or your walks get faster, either or. And then over the course of a month, you're more comfortable with just going outside. You can get in a little bit of cardio, and then after a month, you can think, oh, well, now I'm kind of bored of walking. I want to try something else. Let me try to go actually to the gym, like my local gym or whatever. And then you can start the gym that way. Or that's what I did. So, as just an example.
Already so far behind. I didn't even know what I cared about anymore. One step at a time, though, I learned myself. And I grew out of this phase of my life where my self-worth came from video games. I learned just how important change is to life. I can't keep trying to do the same thing forever. I need to expand my knowledge and change the pace as often as I can. Or else I can turn into a robot doing the same thing day in and day out. And eventually, one day, I would pass, feeling nothing and contributing nothing. So, I finally let go of my elo and grew as a person. And I cannot be happier. I'm sure there are a lot of other reasons why others would quit competitive games. No one person can be the same, and I'm definitely a little weird, but maybe there's someone out there like me who this touches, and that's all I can hope for. But for now, I hope you guys have a good night, or day, or whatever.
Yeah, man, this is a nice little video. I would guess that working it up probably fell into that bell curve of the lump of people that graduated out of the beginner category and got into that massive lump of people that game developers have no idea what to do with, They endlessly grind the game and will kind of get better, but never will they, or seldom will they ever get to that upper like 90th percentile of the game, because the game doesn't teach them. You If you want to get better at a game, you have to, I mean, it seems like you were doing like all right with some of the games or whatever, but I don't know. It's tough, man. Whenever you like let go of games that you played. When I quit COD, and when was it exactly? I think it was around Advanced Warfare, because I was a COD bro. I like the new game dropped every year or every couple years at the time, and me and the boys were there on release night, lining up in front of the EB games, and we were just all excited. Oh man, we're gonna boot the game up and just we'll play the campaign later, but tonight we're just gonna do multiplayer. I remember that night of just not going, and I was like kind of torn. I kind of had some FOMO, but I remember all the times before that where I was just, I can't do another Call of Duty game where I just buy the game and dump hours upon hours into it. I don't want to do that again. So uh, the boys, they called me up and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna be there. Are you gonna go?" I was like, "Nah." I think I lied to them. I was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna sleep. I'll get it sometime later." But then I never got it later, and that was it. So it does hurt in the moment, but over the long run, I think it's a little bit healthier. But yeah, that was a nice little video. You always gotta watch a video that just reminds you of, hey, are you too addicted? Maybe you should cool it for a little bit and break up the monotony, you know? But, if even if you do play a lot of games, hours on hours end, as long as you don't feel like it's a waste of time, it's not a waste of time. But yeah, well, that's pretty much it. Okay, so this is my first time watching Broken Up. It was, I think, just a great little video. It was cool, and I want to see more. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. So peace out, later.